What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and oopsie doopsie, looks like some mass layoffs at Disney, on top of the layoffs at Twitter, on top of the layoffs at Facebook, after, continuing to double down on woke politics. I absolutely couldn't care less. I have become bitter and grizzled in my old age after dealing with these companies who are happy to, sneak their political ideologies, and by the way, openly admit it, into these children's movies. I don't care if Disney collapsed tomorrow. I don't care if Facebook collapsed tomorrow. It's just, I've had enough of these garbage companies, and now the chickens have come home to roost for Disney. And we're going to get all of that after a super quick word from this video's sponsor. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Established Titles. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. They allow people to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so they can call themselves a lord or a lady officially. In return, they commit to plant a tree with every order and protect the beautiful, pristine woodlands of Scotland. Established Titles makes an absolutely amazing gift, and a person could officially get their name changed on documents. Their title pack gives you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate and an official certificate with a crest. Established Titles is currently having a really big sale just for you, my subscribers. You can get an additional 10% off any purchase you make with the discount code TheQuartering. So click the link below, go to establishedtitles.com/TheQuartering and use promo code TheQuartering to save an extra 10% today. And here's a classic tweet put out by Gary over at Neurotic. Parents outraged over Disney's pushback on Florida's parental rights law. Leave the kids alone. And Disney plans layoffs. Rigorous review of spending and hiring freeze. Tough and uncomfortable decisions coming. Bob Chapek tells staff. Well. Disney to begin layoffs, targeted hiring freeze, and limiting travel. Disney will be enacting layoffs, implementing a targeted hiring freeze and limiting company travel as part of a sweeping cost cut across leadership on Friday. In a memo obtained by Variety, which was sent to top men, afternoon, Disney CEO Bob Chapek wrote, quote, "I'm fully aware that this will be a difficult process for many of you and your teams. We are going to have to make tough and uncomfortable decisions, but this is just what leadership requires. And I thank you in advance for stepping up during this important time. Our company has weathered many challenges during our 100-year history, and I have no doubt we will achieve our goals and announce a more nimble company better suited to the environment of tomorrow." Well, Chapek also says that Disney will be conducting a rigorous review of the company's content and marketing spending, with all of these efforts being overseen by a newly formed, quote, cost structure task force comprised of Chapek, CFO Christina McCarthy, and General Counsel Horatio Gutierrez. The layoffs and cost-cutting news hits 4 days after Disney presented rough quarterly earnings results, which set the company's stock tumbling to its lowest price in more than 2 years. This article, Disney stock slumps to its 2-year-plus low on earnings, weak profit outlook, and high streaming losses into 2023. Updated, Disney stock tanked 13.6% back on Wednesday, their lowest level in more than 2 years, after the media conglomerate's quarterly results fell short of Wall Street expectations, and the company signaled that its direct-to-streaming losses and linear TV declines for the fiscal year of 2023 would be even higher than expected. Disney stock closed at $86 a share on Wednesday, resulting in the company's market cap shedding about $24 billion in value to stand at $158 billion. It's the lowest closing price for Disney shares since March 20th of 2020, when it cratered to $85.76 a share amid the dramatic market sell-off, the offset, the lockdowns. Disney's stock slide came amid a broader but less severe decline across key market indices. The Dow Jones was down 2%, S&P down 2%, and NASDAQ 2.5%. Disney reported an operating loss for its streaming segment of $1.5 billion with a B for the quarter, October 1st, and $800 million more than the year earlier. While revenue did increase to $5 billion, the company attributed the increase to higher losses at Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and lower results at Hulu. Meanwhile, revenue for Disney's linear television networks, which is pay TV cable networks, dropped 5%. It's almost like actions have consequences. It's almost like attacking the core family basis of 50% of your customers have consequences. And by the way, I can't say I remember this because I went to Disney when I was a kid, and my parents had to save up for us to go to Disney. Like, it was a big deal. Like, when my parents said, we're going to go to Disney, and we were doing all sorts of stuff like taking in aluminum cans and putting all of our change in a jar and doing family stuff to save up money so that we could go to Disneyland. We weren't poor. We were probably lower middle or middle class. Both of my parents worked in factories, but it was a big deal to go to Florida and to go to Disneyland. Nowadays, Disneyland is like a rich family's thing, isn't it? Like, it seems super expensive to go to Disneyland. On top of the fact that they hate half of their customers, it seems like some people have just said, meh, I'm cool. And it seems like people have also said, I'm good on Disney Plus. Streaming services have become so watered down that, and when you combine that with building back better with decades high inflation, most working class people are having to make cuts in their life to afford to put gas in their gas tank. So they're looking at, and I'm like, paying for Hulu, I'm paying for Disney Plus, I'm paying for Netflix, I'm paying for Paramount Plus, I'm paying for Peacock, I'm paying for Chiller. Maybe I could cut half of these. And people are going to start to make cuts, because the whole reason streaming was attractive in the first place was because you got all your programs for like $40 a month, and most people were paying like $120 on cable. Now, in order to get all your programs, you're paying close to $120 a month, $200 a month anyway. The article continues. The company saw subscriptions for Disney Plus, which launches its ad-supported tier on December 8th, significantly surpass Wall Street expectations. Disney reported an operating loss for its streaming segment of $1.5 billion. Chapek wrote on Friday that these cost management efforts, which were hinted at himself and McCarthy on the earnings call, are occurring against the backdrop of economic uncertainty. Well, maybe you should stop backing the exact same politicians that keep doing this to you, but I suppose that's never going to happen. Affecting all of Hollywood. This will help us achieve the important goal of reaching profitability in Disney Plus by fiscal 2024 and make us a more efficient and nimble company overall. Well, maybe. Oh, and by the way, most of Marvel Phase 4 has lost money. Have you paid attention to that? The Eternals lost money. Black Widow lost money. Spider-Man made a ton of money, but Disney only gets half of that. Black Panther will probably make money, but not that much. Doctor Strange did make money, too. Thor barely broke even. Maybe in the long tail, it's finally made some money. But, like, there is a lot. And this on top of, Marvel fatigue. Phase 4 was filled with abysmal disappointments. Will Black Panther Wakanda Forever reignite fading interest in MCU? No, it will not. I suspect Black Panther will be a standalone success, kind of like Spider-Man or maybe even Doctor Strange. But the overall interest in the MCU is just tanked. Marvel reached its powerful peak with Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War saw the superheroes finally losing and watching loved ones being sapped away to dust. Phase 3 ended on an exalting, bittersweet high. Phase 4 began on an interesting note with Disney Plus series WandaVision that saw two characters, a completely novel premise, where Wanda crafts her own reality. The show introduced Agatha Harkness and returned to the old Marvel-esque showdown between the two. The Marvel series were far more interesting, and in the case of Loki and Ms. Marvel, while Falcon and the Winter Soldier was dull and bland, unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the films. Where Marvel fatigue sets in, the storyline's humor had become abominably predictable. The Eternals, an ambitious project for the MCU, was overstuffed with heroes, most of whom stood on the sidelines, save for some scenes, including Angelina Jolie. Brilliant and riveting characters that probably deserve their own series became unidimensional cardboard cutouts. Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson's final hurrah, it's not, she's back, was another abysmal mess, which did more injustice to her character than Endgame did. Robbing her of any agency, the film had no personality and not one memorable moment, despite having a promising set of characters. The villain was bland, generic evil. Supposedly dry humor of Florence Pugh's Yelena was entirely distasteful throughout, and conflict between her and Natasha Romanoff was completely forced because you knew they would team up anyway. I mean, this is all very true. It is the end of the MCU billion-dollar machine. Disney could save this. You know, they haven't really done anything with Star Wars in a long time. It's mostly because, at least from a cinema perspective, they don't know what the heck to do with it. On Disney Plus, it's a little lower risk because they don't have to spend as much on advertising, and the flops are a little less floppy and the hits are a little less hitty, but it gets people on their subscription service, which is very important to them. Overall, these cuts are not surprising to me in any way, shape, or form, and I'm absolutely happy to report on it. If you enjoyed my videos, please do leave a like on it, and if you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.